stage at the Old Monkey Manchester to get a few words with multi-award winning comedian Harriet Kemsley. Hi Harriet, great to meet you.
Hello, nice to meet you too.
You've been touring your show Slutty Joan. How's it going?
It's been going good. Very pleased that people have come because I was nervous that they wouldn't, and because there was no way to tell before we did it, but they have it, so that's a big relief. Otherwise, that would have been very lonely.
So you appear on 8 out of 10 Cats, Roast Battle, in feature film Bonobo with James Norton, Damned with Joe Brand, Dr. Foster, been on Radio 1, Radio 2, BBC 3, and tour extensively. Do you ever get any time at home?
I do actually. I just really like to sit down a lot. So I do take a lot of time, and I think because a lot of the things you do is like writing and stuff, then you have to kind of be at home and sat alone trying to write something. It's a very lonely, boring experience.
Do you miss your husband, Bobby Mair, when you're on the road?
Yes, sometimes. Sometimes I think it's good to have the distance, but sometimes we have to do gigs together. Quite often people book. We were in Bristol together last week, and we were meant to travel up together, but then we had a big fight at the dump, and so he had to. We got the train up separately instead. So sometimes it's good we're not together for a while, I think.
You were married by Ramesh Ranganathan. Was that a bit surreal?
It was surreal. It was a very. It was weird because we were so tired. We'd been filming so much, and it was mad. So it was a very surreal experience. But we got down the aisle, and that was the main thing.
What's Ramesh actually like as a person?
He's very sweet. I think he appears very grumpy, but underneath he's a sweetheart.
How did you get into comedy?
I was at uni and I didn't know what to do, and then my parents said that they rang me and they were like, "We're just watching live at the Apollo last night and we think you could do stand-up." And so I was like, "That's mad." And but then I went out and I did it, and I didn't tell anyone, and it was my secret thing for a while. It was quite exciting.
Having travelled fairly extensively, what's the most memorable thing that's happened to you?
I'm going to tell the story again. I was at a B&B not very far from here, and I turned up and there was a shit on the floor in front of my room, and there were two women looking at the shit, and then they didn't know what to do, but then I think they cleared it away, but then I had to go and sleep in the room for the night, and it was quite unsettling, and I pushed the cupboard in front of my door because I felt someone was out to get me.
If I was to take up comedy, do you think what I'm wearing will be a good image, or do you think I'd look like I was promoting homelessness?
I think you should do it. Have you done it before?
No.
I think you just have to get out there and do it. You have to book in a spot and then just go and do it, and wear whatever you feel comfortable in, because then you'll be yourself, and that's when you'll be your funniest.
You openly admit that you have dyspraxia. As you know, I have this too. How does it affect you in your daily life?
It just means I break a lot more things and I lose a lot of things. There was a stage in the summer when I think I lost 4 or 5 debit cards and lots of phones and things, but my husband is very sweet, and he's said that we've got a breakages fund now, because I was getting really stressed because I kept breaking things and losing things and it was costing money, and he was like, "It's fine, we just factor in that throughout the year you just cost a bit more than other people because you're going to break and lose things." And I kept smashing. We had like a glass stove thing, you know, where it heats up and it gets hot, but it's like glass to cook on. And twice, once my parents had one and I broke it, and then so I broke me and Bobby's as well, and they're quite expensive, so that was quite bad. But I think knowing that you have it helps you kind of be able to forgive yourself a bit and be like, it's not actually my fault, it's a disease.
How did you first become aware of it?
I just have always been really clumsy and bad spatial awareness and get confused a lot. Is that your symptoms as well?
I'm just bad at handwriting or...
Bad at handwriting, yeah. And then my sister was watching Embarrassing Bodies, and she was like, "I think you have the same thing as the woman on Embarrassing Bodies." And she did a test. Have you done this test, the clap test thing? I don't even know how you do it, but she did this test on me, and I had to do it at this dinner table, and I managed somehow, while trying to do this test, I knocked over 2 glasses, and they were like, "I think you have it." Yeah, so that's how I found out. And then Bobby got me a book and I read it and I cried because I was like, I related to it so much, and then I got tested.
Do you know other people who have it?
I do know a few people, and it's the more you know about it, the more you notice it in other people. You're like, I think you kind of become a secret diagnoser, and I'm like, I think you might have it. Do you know other people with it?
I've heard of other people who have it, but I don't know other people who have it.
Okay, it's like your own special thing.
Can I refer to you as my dyspraxia sister?
Absolutely, you can. I like that.
I like to tell jokes. Can I try one of my favourite one-liners on you?
Yes, go for it.
Sounds make me laugh.
You're laughing at your own joke before you say it. I like that.
Never buy shoes off a drug dealer. I did, and I've been tripping all day.
That's good. I like that one.
I went into a library and asked for a book about paranoia. The librarian said they're right behind you. That's my favourite. My dog used to chase people on a bike. It got so bad I had to take his bike away from him.
Do you have a dog?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I think he's too stupid to ride a bike though.
Yeah, I think most dogs it would be quite difficult. Although with dyspraxia it's difficult as well, so you can't really get angry with the dog.
That's the end of the interview. But before we go, if I'm really nice to you off camera too, will you put me on the guest list when we're next back in Manchester?
Absolutely.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.